This episode of Warp Factor 10 is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast. Hey everyone, welcome into Warp Factor 10, our series on all things Star Trek. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burly of Burlyman Gaming. How you doing, Burly?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're talking Picard, but before we
Why,
get in,
unfortunately? Hey, it's like, yeah, we have to finish it off. I mean, the season finale we're going to be talking about. And before we move on, and Burley has some things he wants to mention, but before I get to him, I just want to mention that, of course, as with all of our episodes on Star Trek Picard, this episode is a spoiler-filled episode, our recap and reactions to the season finale, episode 10 of season 2 of Star Trek Picard. So if you have not watched the season finale, please go and watch that first before watching our video here. So that's your spoiler warning. This is a spoiler-filled episode. So with that said, Burley, you have some things that you want to mention. So take it away, man.
yeah. So, CBS. I'm not really too much of a fan right now of what they've been doing to other YouTubers. Angry Joe is one where they if you've been talking negative of the show, criticizing the writing and stuff, they've been doing manual reviews and getting it kicked off YouTube. That is an abuse of power. I do not like this kind of stuff. I really hope YouTube would stand up and do stuff, but YouTube likes to just sit on its hands because they don't want to piss off CBS. So they rather let their creators suffer. If a creator is if they are doing stuff they shouldn't and having copyright written material up there without fair use and all that, fair enough. Totally understand that. You want to take that down? Totally understand that. But when it's someone talking and just talking like we're here, the two of us doing a review, no, I'm sorry, you can't. If you don't like the opinions, too bad. Either you make a better show, or you don't do it. Don't do the copyright claim, and don't pay attention to these channels. Pay attention to the ones you want. Give you the positive feedback.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Burley. So let's go ahead and get to the episode. So season finale, good old Q. Yes. The episode is called Farewell. So, yes. So, yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and start. Of course, they're in the chateau. This is where episode 9 left off, and they're discussing what they're going to do. And then, of course, Talon gives them, some, like a kind of a similar type of tricorder and things to use. And she says she's going to beam straight in to where the Europa mission is going to take off. And the quarantine had been lifted. And so she was going to go in, and stealthily try to make sure that Renee Picard was able to get on the craft to be launched. And of course, Rios and Rafi and Seven were going to go and, go to Sung's compound, so to speak. And then, of course, Picard, being the stubborn Picard that he is, steps into Talon's transport and goes with her over to the Europa mission launch site. So anyway, Burley, what did you think of that part?
Okay. So first, Talon has the ability to just warp that like this.
Yeah.
Okay, why didn't you use this last episode? Get yourself to the ship. Like that. You cannot tell me that is not sloppy writing.
Mm-hmm.
That is just horrible writing. Yeah, them splitting up, her and Picard going there to make sure Renee gets on the launch. That was
Picard was trying to stop her
okay.
when it came to Talon.
Yeah.
He was trying to stop her, and then Talon just got right in his face and said, "You don't tell me what to do with my life." And I thought that was a pretty good scene there, where she's like saying, it's not your decision. When people die, it's not your problem. It's like,
Yeah.
So
and
go ahead, Burley. Yeah.
I said them going to Sung's lab and it just being pretty much a waste of time.
Uh-huh.
You saw that coming.
Yeah.
You saw that coming. We all kind of knew, but you also knew because they're like, he screwed us. He just had a voice recording on loop here.
Yeah.
To make us think he's here.
Yeah.
You can't tell me with all the tech in Star Trek and all this that he used this show.
Yeah.
That they can't tell this is an audio track playing.
Yeah, and then the drones, of course, that were previously used to protect Kore. Now they were used as drones to go and take down the launch. Yeah. So, but and then of course, Rafi, she's like, I need more time. If I had the ship here, I could easily get into this and hack it, but I can't. So give me some pliers, give me some whatever tools you can, and
scissors,
and
basically, I need to strip some wires.
Yeah. And then finally, they're able to override it, and then of course, Rios is able to, get control of one of the drones to destroy the other three and destroy the one that he's controlling himself. So, but yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah. So, and then of course we see Sung, of course, he's at the launch site, and boy, I hated this scene because, man, he was just treating this director, with a bunch of contempt. It's, like, didn't my money, get me at least 5 minutes worth of FaceTime with them, my contributions and everything, just he was kind of, I hate to say this, but kind of Trumpian in a way, very Trumpian.
He was just an asshole.
Yeah,
literally an asshole.
Thanks, Burley. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Let me say the stuff you want to say, but are afraid to say. Let me be that.
I'm not afraid to say it, but it's just I did. Yeah. We might have some some kids watching this. Who knows who's watching this at some point. So anyway,
sorry for anyone with young children who watch this, but like,
parental discretion advised. Yes, but anyway, yeah.
But Frank, he's just, I paid for this, and then her saying the thing, when the mission's starting to go, I never thought this would, and he's like, what?
Yeah,
you never thought, you never believed.
Yeah. How negative?
It's not that I didn't believe. Yeah.
How negative?
Like, oh my!
I'm going to leave you right here. I'm going to leave you right here. I think. Yes.
It was like, oh my God! It was just like, what? Why is this?
Yeah.
This is a moment we have to have. This is something.
Yeah.
Like they like, this was a character we didn't need to have in this season.
Mm-hmm.
But they brought him in because we got to have Brett Spiner come back.
Yeah. And
this was just a waste of a character, waste of time.
I'm wondering if he's going to be in season 3, if they're going to bring him back as the Sung character from season 1. Because, it's in the, the natural timeline. I don't know. We'll see, but we shall see. But anyway, let's move kind of on. And then of course, Renee, she of course, sees Talon, in one of the suits of one of her astronaut associates, and she corners her, and then Talon starts to explain everything about who she is and being her protector and all, and reminiscing about when she was a kid, and she had seen things that she had gone through as a child and all. And so I thought that was an interesting scene. But then, of course, after that, obviously, in the it seems like Renee is running outside, and Sung happens to be walking down the hallway, and then she comes up to him and is like, "There's this woman in there, I don't know this person," and then Sung touches her on the face,
Mhm.
saying, "Just come with me, we'll take care of the situation." And that's when, of course, we see that obviously you think that Renee is dying because obviously Sung, had this like some chemical compound on his
I think
hand.
it was a neurotoxin,
A
he said.
neurotoxin, yeah, exactly. Yeah, some kind of neurotoxin that was fatal, obviously. And so for a moment there, it's like, oh my goodness, you think that it's Renee that's going to die, and then the mission is going to fail. But then, of course, in the last episode, when the Borg Queen was saying, one Renee must die, one must live. And so obviously, it was Talon, of course, who had tricked Sung and had, I guess, at some point had the means to take, or she must have touched Renee just before the scene, or actually after the scene, when she said, "Trust me, you have to trust me." So probably she was able to, touch her in a sense and be able to transform herself into her as a hologram or something. And so obviously she's the one who gets the chemical compound, so the neurotoxin, and ends up dying in Renee's place. So obviously one Renee must survive, one Renee must die. So there you go. The riddle has been, uh, solved. But what did you think of that, Burley?
Yeah, we're it wasn't a surprise. You and I were kind of talking about this.
Yeah.
That who are they going to use for the other Renee?
Yeah.
I would have kind of liked the Sung method, my method of the Sung getting some clone shit from his lab, because that would have just been so ridiculous. But made the whole whole side plot of the lab and all that,
Yeah.
made it actually have some kind of payoff.
Right.
And him
Right.
being this geneticist and cloning and making children.
Yeah. 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 And so obviously his son goes back
Mm,
to his compound, and he
mm,
sees Renee on
mm.
the ship already, getting into orbit and everything. And so he knows that he had failed and everything. And then, of course, what was the funny part? I loved it. Then all of his files start being deleted on his drive and everything. He's like, "What the hell's going on? Damn it!"
Yeah.
And then obviously, then it's basically Corey. She's like in a library or something and using that, kind of like a VR type of headset to delete all of his files and everything.
To
And
hack in, yeah.
that was pretty good. But then of course at the library she sees, like, on a computer there, it's like, you know do you want to see the rest of the story or whatever it was? I can't remember exactly what was typed on there, but it's like, come to this particular park or whatever. So she goes to the park, and then of course the big surprise, we get
Right.
Wesley, you know of course, because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the Next Generation, of course, I think it was the final season of Next Generation, he became one of those watchers, kind of like in,
The
old,
travelers.
the travelers, yeah, exactly, going from dimension to dimension, and watching things through time and everything. And so he recruits Corey. It's like, of all things, he just shows up and he's been watching, and he recruits her. But before we get into that, when Sung had seen all the files deleted and everything, he goes into the drawer and he pulls out a confidential file. And that was pretty interesting because it had the Khan project on that file. And the date was interesting, of the establishment of the funding for that project. It was 1996 that was on that
Yeah.
file. where it's now 2024. So you're telling me that 25 plus years have passed since funding had begun on that. So I'm wondering how far into the project he had gotten at that point. And there's many questions whether or not now does the con project actually expire? Is there going to be a con now in the timeline? Or is it going to remain the same? Does he pick up that project where he left off? I don't know. What do you think?
That was like, for the deleting the backups, deleting his files was funny, as good as that was, and a victory moment for her.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you not have an offsite backup?
Yeah. It's
like I work in IT, you always have backup in another
exactly.
location because you
Yeah.
never so it's like dumb moment there, bad writing there.
Yeah.
Then you have with him pulling out the con file, I was like, no.
Yeah.
Just really, do we need to revisit con again?
Yeah.
Like we had it in Wrath of Khan, and you had to make your second Star Trek film of the reboot.
Yeah.
Let's bring Khan back.
Yeah.
It was like, no, we don't need Khan, and now he's involved, and the Khan project, and now in season 3 we're gonna get that, because what's the baddest villain? Okay, we've already dealt with the Borg. What's the next biggest thing? Khan.
Who knows? I mean, yeah, maybe, but I kind of think they probably put it to rest. I mean, maybe it was like something, that now he couldn't do. I don't know. It's interesting.
He may not been able to do, but because they have made changes to this timeline that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
I know they said they fixed it, but they have made other changes. So
right.
You can technobabble and all this and say, now that they've changed this, something has happened. Sung may have not been able to complete it, but another one of his ancestors in the future secretly worked on the Khan project.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of this part, though, with Wesley, though? So everybody was saying, it's like Wesley, Will Wheaton is not going to be a part of the show. And, there was all the rumblings about that. But yeah, he shows up, so.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was nice to see.
It was neat.
Yeah.
It was nice to see him, and he got like 2 minutes on screen. So
yeah.
Hey, yeah. So you may still get him for season 3. Who knows? They may just say, but will he be there with the whole cast?
Actually, we'll talk about that at the very end of the show, because we know what cast members are not coming back for season 3. So we'll talk about that. So, yeah. So anyway, next up, of course, Q, Picard, and all. Q, of course, has his final discussion with Picard in the chateau there. And I thought that was kind of a moving moment in a sense. It's Q knows that he's going to die, and he wanted to make sure that Picard, fulfilled his destiny in the sense of leaving that key for a future boy to find. And then, of course, talking about his own, death by being able to send them back to their own timeline and fixing things in a sense. Yeah. So, of course, this is the scene, obviously, outside the chateau and all, where, Picard has his final moments with Q, of course. And then, then Rios, obviously, and you and I think we predicted this, Burly, that Rios, he was going to stay behind. Well, I was thinking he would probably take the doctor and take him to the future, but that didn't end up the case. You were right, where he stays in the past, and but everybody else goes back, and with that final snap of the finger, of course, he's able to get them back to where they started from. So what did you think of those scenes?
Yeah, overall I liked it. Like I did like Rios to stay in there. He's like, yeah, I didn't fit in. This is where I can do much better good, and I'm happy here.
Yeah, he said something about having 5 different holograms that he was
yeah. he's got the doctor, he's got the kid.
Yeah.
Just he just wants to just rest, take it easy.
And he hung out with Guinan too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, gone back there as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see if he kind of watched Sung as time progressed to see, if, he were to stop him from doing the con project or not. I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, we get that. Yeah. So now let's get to, of course, we get back to the regular timeline, and of course back to the moment in episode 1, of course, with the Borg, supposedly the Borg ambassador. Well, it was definitely the Borg queen, and of course it's Agnes, and there was this disruption out there, and the reason why Agnes had to take control of the fleet that was there was because she needed to kind of configure their shielding so that they could stop this big, enormous anomaly from blasting and destroying like half of the quadrant, maybe. So she was able to help with that. And it was funny how Picard gives Seven a field commission, obviously, on the bridge there, and then she takes over and says, tell the fleet to give all control to the Borg Queen, in this case. And of course, Agnes, you see parts of her face, obviously. And then at the end there, when she saves them and all, she asks for a membership in the Federation to be like the watch keepers of that particular area. So what did you think of that, Burley?
Yeah, this I have a few thoughts. You telling me she couldn't have just easily said at the beginning here, I need to there's a disturbance here, I need to take and buffer your shields to make you guys be able to last and save everyone. I know they wouldn't exactly trust the Borg, but you could at least try communication.
Well, you would have thought in the first episode she would have revealed her face there, and then everybody would have been all like freaked out and like, Agnes, that's you, what the hell's going on, and maybe she could have explained something, but I guess they had to go through all of that to be able to understand. So
no, it's called bad writing. That's really, what it is. I have just my opinions and thoughts. Bad writing. But I do like 709 getting some power, but I love that no one, something I kind of hate, no one on the ship reacts of, hey, where's Captain Rios?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even get anything there. Like,
well, the one helmsman, she was mentioning mentioning Rios, and then Picard, just stopped her right in her tracks there and was like, stay on focus. That's an order.
Okay, I must have literally tuned.
You must have missed that part. Yeah. So Picard was like, telling her, it's like, stay on focus. So anyway, so Q is no more. The Federation survives another day. Of course, now we have the Borg there as watchers, ruled by Agnes. But we, of course, in the episode, we found out, and after this finale episode came out, there was an article that also came out that was confirming that Allison Pill will not be back in season 3. Of course, Rios will not be back in season 3. Elnor, of course, the Romulan cadet, of course, who came back in the regular timeline. Of course, he was on the Excelsior. He is not coming back for season 3 as well as Isa Briones, of course, who played Kore. She is not coming back as well.
No.
So that leaves a lot of room open for all of the next generation characters to come in and make it basically, Star Trek: The Next Generation season 8.
Yeah. That's sad. Like, Rios, it's sad, but I understand because they wrote him a good ending.
Yeah.
for his character. So that one I'm not surprised. Alison Pill, it's like, oh, you're getting rid of her? Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, so what are you going to do with this whole Borg there watching? Oh, we're
Maybe
never going to
nothing.
go.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe nothing. Yeah.
So that means they take the ending they're at, just dropped it.
Yep.
So so they're continuing with the writing style of we're going to introduce stuff, just drop it, because they've done that a lot this season.
Yeah.
That annoys me. But you do get they do little fan servicey moments as this that we didn't talk about. You had 7 to 9 and Raffi Kiss.
Yeah.
Kiss. You had that, and then you had the little Elnor's alive moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Elnor moment, I know they want you to care and be happy, but as I said, I could not. They gave me nothing on this character of why I should care.
Yep. Another part of the episode I really liked towards the end there when they were back in Guinan's, in 10 Forward, in Los Angeles, and Guinan was reminiscing about Rios, and she had a picture from back in the 21st century of Rios and the Doctor, in a picture there, and was able to explain to Picard what happened to them in their life and everything. So I thought that part was pretty cool, so got to find out Rios's fate and all as well. So I think we're probably going to be done with the Borg. I mean, season 1, season 2 now. I think they're going to go in a completely different direction. You have the Next Generation cast coming back. I strongly believe that season 3 is going to be Picard's finale. That at the end of season 3, he's going to pass on. Kind of like Q passes on at the end of season 2 here. Picard's going to, pass on at the end of season 3. But you're going to have all the characters and there's going to be some type of new story, because now, I think Wesley, I think that was just a short cameo at the end of season 2. I don't think he's going to be back in season 3 either. So we'll see what's going to happen. They can't bring Data back. That's one character from the Next Generation cast. That because he, of course, in the end of season 1, he dies. So I mean, you'll see Geordi, you'll see Worf, you'll see Dr. Crusher, you'll see Riker again, and Troy. So, but I think that's it. I mean, so what they do with it, I have no idea. And it looks like, from what they're saying, season 3 will be coming in 2023. So next year. Yeah. So we shall see. So. All right. So that's going to do it for Star Trek Picard season 2 here on Warp Factor 10. So our next episode will be the first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So we're going to be doing our recap and reactions episode for the first episode of that. So we're excited for that. We're looking forward to that. So we hope to catch you in the next episode. Of course, this goes up to our Patreon in early access for the first 2 days. And then after going to the public, it will go to our YouTube channel at The Arena Productions. So please go and check that out as well. So want to thank you so much for supporting our show. And we hope to catch you in the next one. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burly of Burlyman Gaming. So take care, and we hope to catch you in the next one. So peace out. Live long and prosper.
Bring back Alison Pill.